All right, Chicago could be the next city the National Guard is deployed to for a crime crackdown. The Trump administration is also preparing to launch major ICE operations there this week. That's according to DHS officials. In a Truth Social post this morning, President Trump wrote, quote, "Chicago is the worst and most dangerous city in the world by far. Pritzker needs help badly. He just doesn't know it yet. I will solve the crime problem fast, just like I did in D.C." I want to bring in Department of Justice reporter Jake Rosen. Jake, we'll talk about Chicago in just a moment. But first, before we do that, a judge just ruled on the National Guard use in California. What can you tell us about that?
Well, that's right, Vlad. It's taken a couple of months, but a federal judge in California has ruled that the Trump administration's deployment of Marines and National Guard in California and the way that those officers and military members were deployed throughout the city to do civilian law enforcement was illegal, essentially accusing President Trump and Department of Defense head Pete Hegseth of using these troops as their, quote, personal law enforcement or a national police force run by President Trump. In addition to this, Vlad, these troops are allowed to stay there, but what they're doing is restricted, which has national implications. While it has taken months to get to this point, Vlad, you know, President Trump has used National Guard and military here in D.C., and he has teased it, as you just saw there, for the last couple of weeks in Chicago, too. If these ICE officials and immigration authorities are going throughout the city, he could potentially move to deploy the National Guard there against the governor and mayor's wishes, which would open this up for potentially National Guard being in more cities throughout the country. He says that these troops may not do any kind of crowd control, civilian law enforcement, and arrests.
All right, so let's go back to the Chicago crime crackdown. First of all, let's just fact check. Perhaps the president is being, using hyperbole when he describes Chicago as the most dangerous city in the world. I've visited and reported from really dangerous cities in South Africa, in Mexico, and Chicago isn't even the #1 most dangerous city in America. But give me a fact check there, Jake, and talk to me about when this is supposed to roll out.
Well, that's right, Vlad. Over the last 3 or 4 years, crime in Chicago is actually down about 50% from where it was around the pandemic. But in addition to that, President Trump pointed out, and rightfully this morning, that over the weekend, there were 54 people shot throughout parts of the city. Obviously, President Trump and his administration have used these flashpoints, citing numbers, not necessarily within context, as you just pointed out, as Chicago is not the murder capital of the world, but it is a place where gun violence happens. And President Trump has pledged to bring in the military, potentially the National Guard, or at least bring in immigration authorities to reduce violent crime, according to what the White House says anyway. And here's what Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson has said about President Trump potentially bringing people into the city.
We do not want to see tanks in our streets. We do not want to see families ripped apart. We do not want grandmothers thrown into the back of unmarked vans.
And that's the big point of context and protest that we've seen throughout the country, both in Los Angeles to start, now Washington, D.C., as President Trump kind of hangs these isolated instances of violence. For sure, it is real violence, Vlad, right? But to use kind of the inch to take the mile to deploy the National Guard and immigration authorities throughout what looks like Chicago going into this week.
Yeah, targeting crime, high crime in cities with high crime rates, high murder rates is a good thing. No one's against that. And certainly the tactics or the way to tackle this problem in our cities can be debated. But the notion that Chicago is the most dangerous city in the world, it's just not true. All right, Jake Rosen reporting for us from Washington. Thank you very much.